All right, basses. For our blue belt, we get to play number 92, or the Can-Can, which is a really fun song. Remember, we always like to start with our practice spots first, and for us, what we should practice is our eighth notes. Since they're faster, it's a little harder to move our fingers that fast. So practice each eighth note measure on its own first, and then the other thing we want to practice is, if you look and find in your music where we have third position, that would be a great thing to practice that shift as well. So eighth notes can make it tricky, third position can make it tricky. So we are going to start being on the A team. So remember, that means we follow the notes on the A line, and then we go down to the next A line and keep playing until we get to the repeat sign. When we see the repeat sign, we go to the first A line, and then we play the second A line. We don't play the lines that have a B at all. For this belt, you're going to have to play both lines for me. So eventually we will, but for right now, stick with the A team. Eventually we'll get to the B team. So I would go to your first measure of eighth notes, which is E, G, G, F, E, and I would just practice that. E, G, F, E, and do it as many times in a row correctly, and then eventually, when you're getting it correctly, try it a little faster. And then even faster. See how fast you can get it to go. If you want to try it with the bow from the beginning, and it sounds good with the bow, you can go ahead and do that as well. So take it slow at the beginning. Whoops. But then remember, once you're doing it correctly and know how to do it, we can try it a little faster. Ready, go. Ready, go. And then eventually you want to be able to play it faster than we're actually going to take it on the concert. It's pretty tricky to do it that fast. If you don't quite get there, that's okay. The next eighth notes, A, B, F sharp, G. We have to hop our fingers across A, B, then hop 4 across F sharp, open G, and we're going to have to go G string, G string, D string, G string. So we only have one note on the D string. So be ready for that string crossing with your bow. Be ready to hop your fingers across here as well. So let's take it slow at first. Ready, play. A, B, hop across, F sharp, D, G. So make sure to hop your fourth finger, or excuse me, hop your bow first, and then hop your fourth finger. So A, B, hop, roll your bow, hop your fourth finger. F sharp, roll your bow, G. Let's try it again. A, B, roll your bow, hop your finger. F sharp, roll your bow, G, G, excuse me, I keep singing that wrong, that's my fault. Bum, 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 bum. And then eventually we can try it without a pause. A, B, F sharp, G. And then once again with this one, we want to learn so we can take it a little faster. A, B, F sharp, G, even faster. Even faster. So, you don't have to go too fast, but make sure you practice it so that you can't get it wrong. The next notes, E, G, F sharp, E. So we're going to have to go 1, open, 4, 1. So our fingers are always on the D string, but our bow gets to practice rolling back and forth. So E, then roll to the G string, play G, roll your bow to the D string, add fourth finger, and then back to E. Let's do that again. So E, roll your bow, and then 4 fingers on D, and then eventually we want to not have that pause there. So and then eventually we want to get it even faster. So it doesn't have to be that fast, but we want to get it a little bit faster. Then our next measure, we have that shift to third position. So we start on an open D, and as we're playing open D, I want you to be moving your hand to third position. And so we're going to have D, move your hand up, then we're going to roll your bow to the G string, set 4 down, and you're ready to go. And then we have to shift back to 4. So let's try that again. So D and shift, then roll your bow, 4 fingers in third position on the G string, then second finger, shift back for 4. So that is a really tricky measure. Practice it as much as it takes, but then after that it's just a scale. We know how to do those. So make sure to practice pizzicato first and then add the bow in after that. I'm going to go ahead and play the A line for you with repeats right now. So here's just the A team with the bow, but practice it pizzicato first at home. Ready, play. It's mostly the same, except it ends differently. So at the end, we don't have to shift, we don't have our scale. We just have a little bit of a skip. So D, A, whoops, D, A, E, F sharp, D, D, and then we have a repeat back to the beginning. Keep going from there, but I'm going to stop for now. If you look at the bottom line, it's a little bit different. We have lots of D's and A's, but before you play through thinking it looks easy, watch out for the 8th notes that will come up eventually. And guess what? It's a scale, just like in the top line. So if you look at where our 8th notes are on the B team line, we're going to start on open D and shift our hand into 3rd position as we do. So open D and shift, and then make sure to roll our bow to the G string, starting on 4 on the G string, 4, 2, then shift back, 4. So it's exactly the same thing we did on the top line, and we're going to play the same notes as the top line. So try those 8th notes again. Ready? So D and shift. Ready? Go. Shift back. And that's really the hardest thing. Otherwise, the B line is pretty easy. So I'm going to play the B line. Remember, we get to the end and we jump down to the next B line. We don't play on the A team at all. When we get to the end of the second B line, we're going to take our repeat back to the beginning. So here's the B line, starting on open D. Remember, we're going to have to roll our bow between the D string and the low A string. So it sounds really cool when we play with the other instruments. Here's the B line. Ready, play. Here's an E. Shift. In your lesson, we'll get to play this as a duet. So one of us will play the A line while the other plays the B line, and then we might even switch parts after that. This is really fun when we get to make music together, kind of like an orchestra class where we have so many different parts at once. Now we get to do that in your lesson. So happy practicing!